I'm excited to hear from our next guest, Talmage Spicer, president of the Uncle Sonny Project.
Welcome to Office Hours. I'm David Meltzer, and I'm here with the Gratitude Group. And the Gratitude Group, they find the light, the love, and the lessons in every one of our guests. And this is a special guest because he's the king of perception. They call him the perceptionist. Talmage Spicer, welcome to Office Hours.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor and a pleasure to share space and be in your presence.
Well, your nickname is T-Spice, and there's a reason, and that's because you are a perceptionist and you're able and capable of finding the T. And that's the terrific side of everything for me, and give a little spice to it, which is why I think you're named the T-Spice. But more important, Talmage, you know, to be a perceptionist, I think gratitude has to be ingrained in your being. There's no way that you have a proper perception or be considered a perceptionist unless you truly engulf gratitude into your life. How, number one, is gratitude played a role in being the perceptionist?
Gratitude has completely changed my life. When I came across the power of being grateful and to shift the perception from all of the things that are going wrong, all of the uphill battles, all of the things that we need to improve on, to the things that I have, the smallest things. When I didn't feel like I had anything, I had a roof over my head. When I didn't feel like I had anything, I had the opportunity to walk. I had operating limbs. I had loving family and friends, and all of these things play a major role into pushing myself forward and realizing what resources that I actually had to elevate my situation, to change my reality. I think that it's powerful because without practicing gratitude, it's easy to overlook those things and miss the opportunities that are in the resources with the things that you have. You get to use what you have to get what you want via gratitude.
You have an awesome message, and I'm surprised we haven't crossed paths before right now. So thank you for being here. So I have a book and a podcast called 2000% Raise, okay? One of the concepts that I get into is even when things are going well for you in corporate America, and you're got that big title, you got that office,
right.
Stop, consider leaving, being an entrepreneur, competing with your former employer, giving yourself a 2000% raise in that process, and building equity in yourself. Okay, and I know your first book was titled "Have the Guts to Follow Your Guts: Why Playing It Safe is the Biggest Risk of All." And my guess is conceptually you're a little bit broader than what I was just talking about right there, but it's really the same thing. Could you get into that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So the title of my book is something that is applicable to building that relationship with yourself, so that you have the type of confidence that it takes to move out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of people, we have checked off all the boxes. We have that grand salary. We have all of the benefits that we can ask for in a job, the title and all of the things, right? But maybe fulfillment is missing, right? And what's in the chasm between where we are and true fulfillment, meaningfulness? It's a lack of a relationship with ourselves. So when I say have the guts to follow your guts, what I'm saying is get in touch with yourself, right? And follow that inkling, because there's so many amazing things that I've experienced as a result of doing that. And in the book, it's a 9-chapter, it's a small book, right? But it's 9 different stories about my relationship with jumping out of my comfort zone. So the reader gets to see the beginning, what I was thinking, what I was feeling, the hesitations, the procrastinations, the loops that I went through, right? The beginning, the middle, how it was actually doing the thing, and how I realized that I was really overthinking a lot of these situations.
It's so great to talk to you, and we were talking before the show, and I want to go back to some of the things we were talking about. This is this whole series of events, little forks in the road, little decisions that have led us to get a chance to talk today, that has led me to be here. I was involved in producing a great conference in Barbados where David was a speaker, right? And so that led me here. Well, why was I producing a conference in Barbados? Because 10 years before that, right here in Las Vegas where we are taping this, I had the opportunity to speak at a conference and recognize an opportunity and become a part of the leadership of that conference and grow this huge conference business. And to talk about how or can you be ready to see those opportunities when they happen, be open to them, and to take each step that leads to the next.
I think that it starts with what I was saying before, that relationship with yourself, right? To have the type of confidence, to trust and believe that the unknown isn't just this scary field of imminent death, right? We say that we're afraid of the unknown, but I think what we're really afraid of is what we project into it, right? Sometimes we come from a place, if we're not practicing gratitude, we come from a place where we feel like I can't risk anything. I can't afford to lose anything that I have because I already don't have enough, right? But when you start to realize how fortunate you are, you're more likely to say, hey, I can give back in certain ways. Let me show up. Let me have a little wiggle room, right? I'm more fortunate than some other people in some other ways. And maybe that gives you, that, like I said, that confidence, that space to express yourself, to show up. And I think that the understanding that we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what seeds we're planting and who we're going to meet and how tremendous opportunities can come from taking small steps, then we realize that we're actually risking more by not doing the thing that we are, by just going ahead, learning the lesson if we have to. If it's a hard lesson, then we get to grow from that. But there's so much more to gain than we have to lose, and we would realize that if we would just focus inward.
So one of the things that I truly believe is that our default mode as human beings is to be abundant, is to be healthy, fulfilled, is to have great relationships. And the number one interference to that is our relationship with self. So I'm super vibing with what you're saying. But you call yourself the perceptionist, so I want to have you unpack a little bit of this for us, because one of my mentors used to always say, we're all looking at truth in a box. We just perceive it through different holes.
Right.
And that interference, that relationship to self, oftentimes clouds that hole or that lens. So how do you help people uncloud that and look through a different lens to be able to get out of their own way? One
of my favorite things that I get to do with people that I work with is challenge some strongly held beliefs, right? I can't X, Y, Z. How do you know that? It's almost immediate with some simple questions. It doesn't take a long time to say, actually, I've never thought about, why I looked at the world this way, why I thought that I couldn't do this. And to open up and realize, I know I had some breakthroughs myself, things that I never even considered around, like scarcity mindset, fear to invest in myself, fear to put myself out there because I can't afford, like I said, to lose anything, right? And to learn how ingrained it was into my subconscious that I couldn't address it without having the conversation, right? There's so much power in taking a step back and saying, what if this isn't true, right? What if this is just my mother speaking, right? And it's in my head, so it sounds like it's me, and it sounds like it's trustworthy. Therefore, I'm going to avoid this. I'm going to resist that. I'm going to skip over this. And all along, steps 1, 2, 3 were right there, or we have them in different orders.
Talmadge Spicer, thank you so much for giving me the mindset and the perception as a perceptionist, allowing others to allow others to have a similar perception, to have that mindset makeover that you provide. Reach out to him to have an unshakable confidence and live by design. As my great hosts live by design, and all of you as well, thank you so much for joining us on Office Hours.